Hello, tea family. How are you this evening? I hope you're having a wonderful Memorial Day and that it is great weather where you are. It was kind of okay weather here and then lots of thunderstorms, but I know some people were barbecuing very early today because we could smell it in the neighborhood. I hope everybody also had a wonderful weekend just in general and is ready to get back to work tomorrow. Yeah, I'm not ready to get back to work tomorrow, but there's still a lot of stuff that I've got to get done. So it is what it is. All right, everybody. Tonight we are going to finally have part 2 of Teapot versus Teacup. We're going to be going over some things that I put off, and then one week after another, we've had a lot of different things going on. As you can tell, I'm still not home yet. Maybe next week, the week after. Hopefully soon we'll be home, but as you can tell by the wallpaper behind me, we're not home yet. So we do want you to say hello. Welcome to the replay. If you're watching this on replay, let us know what you're drinking tonight as you watch or during the day as you watch. And always say hello. Let us know you're there. My handy dandy assistant is in the other room and he will be helping me monitor comments and different things like that. But I just wanted to start off with that. So we are going to get into it. And at any point in time, I do want to also say, if at any point in time you want to go ahead and ask a question or clarify something, go ahead, put it in the chat or the comments, and we will answer it because the handy dandy assistant will help me know it's here. So last time we tested the teapot versus a teacup. We talked about different brewings and different things like that. And some of you were pretty surprised by the results. Tonight, we're going to do a deeper dive into that. And so I would pick up a teapot normally at this point, but guess what? I don't have any teapots. Everything here has been packed. In fact, I am drinking tea, but I'm in a to-go cup. So I don't even have a teacup to show you, which is crazy because this house had probably 100 teacups, if not more. So, but I wanted to imagine I'm holding a teapot, everybody, but because there's a part that most tea lovers don't realize, and that is that not all teapots brew tea the exact same way. In fact, your teapot might completely change the flavor of your tea, and you don't even know it. All right, Diane has the White Friday special hot. That's awesome. That actually sounds like it would be really good right now. So if you were here for the last teapot versus teacup live, did you tell me in the chat or comments, did you actually try that making your tea in a teapot versus making it in a cup and trying to see if you got a flavor difference? If you didn't, it's okay. It's been a minute since we asked everybody to do that, and you might have forgotten, but that's okay. I just thought it would be really interesting to kind of see. Now, tonight's question is going to kind of circle a little bit more towards what kind of teapot would you normally use? Glass, ceramic, cast iron, something else. I have an amazing, and I'll have to do something else with the teapots at some point because my son for Christmas gave me an amazing unglazed clay teapot. And that is something I am looking forward to using when I get home. Someday when I get home. Again, you see the wallpaper, we're still here. All right. So each teapot is going to do better with certain teas. A ceramic teapot is going to hold heat really well, which makes a deeper extraction and going to give a much fuller body taste. More depth of flavor is another way of putting that to the tea. Glass. Okay, so my to-go mug is glass. Glass is going to lose heat faster. But that actually makes it really, truly amazing for delicate teas where you don't want to over extract. So your white teas, your delicate green teas, those are perfect. You don't want them to over extract. You don't want them to get burned. So glasses are really great. This is one of the reasons why sometimes you'll see the delicate flowers that will bloom in them. It's because it cools off enough so it doesn't singe the flavor of those petals. Okay. One of my favorite teapots is actually a cast iron teapot that I have. This one, a cast iron teapot, is going to retain heat the longest. It's going to help bring out a very bold, rich, intense flavor. This is perfect for a black tea, even an oolong, something that you can do at those higher temperatures, some kinds of the caffeine-free blends, the herbal blends. So basically, one of the things to keep in mind is that your teapot is basically controlling how fast or how slow your tea's flavor will reveal itself. And that's a kind of a fun way to think about it, is that the teapot is part of how you can get some of the best flavor. So side by side, same tea, different teapots. If I used one of our blends like Serene Sunrise, um, then I would put it in different pots. There would be subtle differences in the flavor of the tea. So, why teapots that are very, excuse me, a lot of late nights and early mornings. Okay. Wide teapots that allow the leaves to spread. They're going to allow for more movement, and therefore you're going to have more complex flavor. Taller, more narrow teapots, the tea leaves are going to stack, and this is going to create a slightly different extraction. The more tea space that your tea leaves have, the more expressive or flavorful or has more depth of flavor the tea will become. So that is something to consider. So while steeping, based on everything we've talked about, which one do you think will taste richer and which do you think will taste brighter in a teapot? So let's pick a type of teapot. Which, if we were having Serene Sunrise, what kind of teapot, ceramic, glass, cast iron, clay, do you think will give a richer taste, and which one do you think will give a brighter taste? Please put your answers in the chat or the comments, and we will get back to that in a second. I'm going to take a sip. All right. So the answer is that you're going to get a richer, more robust flavor with like the cast iron or the unglazed clay teapot for a Serene Sunrise. Now, that clay teapot, let's talk specifically about that clay teapot for a second. The reason why I was really excited about the unglazed, and it was really hard to find, is because potters by nature, they want to glaze it because they want to be able to um, not retain the flavor. So what happens is in that clay teapot that doesn't have the glaze, is that the natural oils from the tea leaves will kind of start to infuse in the clay. And so that means that you're going to get layer upon every time you use it, you're adding a layer of the tea oils inside that clay pot. You're going to then have so many layers that it's going to add such depth and incredible character. And it's one of the reasons why, if you have a clay teapot, you typically only use that clay teapot for one blend of tea. Now, technically, you could do a breakfast blend, and then you could do a morning Irish. They're not that much difference. You could even add in a Highland Dawn. They're all breakfast blends. They're all blends of black tea. But if you really want to get an incredible flavor, one type of brew for that clay teapot. If you can find the ones that are unglazed, they are very difficult to find. Diane, you are correct. Cast iron and ceramic will definitely be the ceramic is going to give you a brighter. The other thing is, keep in mind with the Serene Sunrise, the glass is not going to bring out incredible depth. It's going to fall a little flatter because the tea won't be able to infuse at the temperature it needs to in that pot. So good guess. Good guess. Okay, so one of the reasons why before everybody was like, well, which tea should I put in which teapot and different things like that. Now, first, always go with your own preferences. But um, it's okay to test your teapots with real life examples. Brew something in there and see, like, I like this in a ceramic pot. I like this in a glass pot, teapot, that's those sort of things. You can do similar things when you get to your teacups. You might use the glass teacup for one thing. You might use a ceramic or a china one for another. You might use glass. The only thing we don't recommend is do not use any kind of green or white tea in a stainless steel type of container. In fact, we had someone contact us this week and they were like, okay, my tea was tasting funny because I was putting it in this stainless steel to go cup. What should I be using? Because sometimes they'll have like hot or cold. And we were like, okay, you need to go ceramic lime because it's not going to have as much of a flavor impact. That that stainless steel is going to cause the tea to oxidize, and so you're going to basically turn your green tea into a black tea, or more like an oolong and that sort of thing. And so it will completely change the flavor of the tea or even just water. So keep that in mind. So I have tested different teas in different teapots. For the most part, I prefer the ceramic ones, other than when I'm doing a black tea. Then I really love my cast iron, and I am very excited to try my clay and start to use it regularly so that I can start to see about the complexity personally. So that's one of those things. So if it is a bold tea, a rich tea, a black tea, I'm going to say you could use ceramic, you could use clay, you could use cast iron. If you want the tea to have slight more delicate flavor, then you're going to want to use a glass teapot. So these are going to be your white teas. These are going to be your green teas. These are going to be super delicate teas. If you want to have a little bit more layered flavor, use a wider teapot. Um, Focused, kind of more punchy flavor, go ahead and use a more narrow teapot. It's not just what the pot is made out of, it's also kind of the shape or the effects. And again, it comes down to how much can those tea leaves spread out in that container. If you are ever wondering which teapot works best for one of our blends, you can always ask. We love to help people out with that. If you just kind of want to explore, that's okay too. I highly encourage you to explore. But we wanted to kind of talk about that. And then, if you watch part one, you also know that the brewing method changes everything, how you brew. But keep in mind that when we ask, hey, why does your tea taste different and it's the same blend? It's something to consider. So Diane did not know, and hello to the others that have joined us. I did not know about the stainless steel cups. Yes, the stainless steel cups will actually continue to oxidize. Here's how we figured that out for ourselves. Now, I had read that before, and you read stuff, and I don't always believe what's on the internet because not everything on the internet is true. So, but we had stainless steel, big, 50, they're 18 cup, I think, stainless steel thermos containers, carafes. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you, handy dandy assistant. And we did a green tea. We did our Emerald Garden, just a very light green tea blend. And when we were looking at the end of the day, before we were brewing more up, it was turning brown like a brown tea. And we're like, wait, how did that happen? It's a very light green tea. And when we made it fresh this morning, it was green when it went in there. So how did that happen? And then we started to dawn on us, oh, the ceramic or the stainless steel in the tea started to interact and it started to oxidize. We don't typically have that problem as much. It doesn't affect the flavor of our black teas or our caffeine freeze like ruby chai. But we have gone out and now we have two carafes. We have a 12 cup and a 15 cup carafes that are, one has glass inside, it's a double wall glass, and the other one has ceramic inside. And I will tell you, the ceramic keeps it very, very hot. And heavy. They are both very heavy. They're heavier than their stainless steel counterparts. But our tea, even at the end of the day after being there, when we go to pour it out into mason jars, and then typically we'll just drink it the next day for us. But when we go to pour it out, it is still as the same color green as when we put it in that morning. So there you go. But that's why we wanted to talk today about a little bit about how the teapot material can affect the heat and the flavor. Shapes can affect it, and then encourage you to do a side by side brew again, same tea, different results, and then how to choose that teapot to kind of go with the different blends. And that's kind of what we wanted to talk about today. A little bit shorter. They'll probably continue to be about this short until we can finally get back home, which again, hopefully is really, really soon. So I want to say thank you for joining us. If you have any questions about which teapot to use or what kinds of teapots or what kinds of blends to use with what you've got, don't hesitate to reach out. We are happy to answer, and I am back to answering emails and everything a little bit more on my normal schedule at this point. Um, Although hopefully we'll be traveling soon. All right. Well, I want to say thanks again and have a wonderful week, and we will see you next Monday.